Welcome back, honors. All right, so this is just meant to be a crash course in how to write this DBQ due to the fact that I've had a lot of questions coming forward about, like, what is this supposed to look like? How is it supposed to be structured? You know, just a lot of little random things, okay? So I can tell that a lot of you are very nervous because you've never done one of these, right? So let me just break this down for you really, really quickly. All a DBQ is writing a 4 to 5 paragraph essay, just like your normal introduction, body, conclusion. That's your structure. The only main difference is you are using evidence from given documents to support your claim, right? So the number one thing that you can use to help yourself out with this is start off by doing one chief thing. Read the documents, all right? Read the documents. And some of y'all are also wigging out right now because y'all are like, we didn't talk about these things in class. You're right, because let's talk about this for a hot second, all right? So you are honors babies, right? So, and what I mean by babies is like y'all are adorable and stuff like that, and you know what I mean, full of zeal and life and not jaded by school yet, all right? So I don't mean like you're weak and small and squishy. So the big thing about it is, I know I was talking to Nikki Del Rey about it, okay? DBQs are meant to further your understanding of the fall of Rome in this particular situation, right? It's not necessarily meant to be a review of things we've already talked about. When you're writing a DBQ, it's supposed to kind of expand your knowledge and prove the things that you have learned up to this point, right? So here's the thing. Your best weapon, best tool, best thing to do is to start off by reading all of the documents. Now, really, really quickly, you are going to notice that I did not make these documents. History teachers love to steal from each other, all right? So this was actually made by some random person out in the middle of who knows where, all right? But I used it because the documents themselves are very well sourced. They're very well edited. They have been redacted properly so that they're very easy and chunkable. And they're also just easy documents for your first DBQ. Your first DBQ is not going to be glamorous. It's not going to be a 7 out of 7. In fact, I'm not even grading it out of 7 now. I'm going to change it and do it 1 out of 6 because I'm going to eliminate one of the things that we're grading that an AP grader would use to grade on due to the fact that I just don't think you're quite ready for it yet. Okay, it's a very, very thick thing that once you get a handle on, it's easy, but it takes a little bit of time. All right, so all you need to worry about is 7 different boxes on this piece of paper, all right? Do not even, like, you can write your name, I don't care, but ignore this, okay? Ignore this, ignore this. Ignore anything that is not in a bold square, all right? If it is not in a box, ignore it, all right? Ignore it. These questions, ignore it. Question, ignore it. Question, ignore it. Question, ignore it. Question, ignore it. Like all these questions, ignore them. They do not exist as far as you're concerned. All you need to know is the information inside each of these boxes. All right? So now you will refer to them as document 1, document 2, document 3. That's why the titles are bolded. All right? So first thing you're going to need to do is read through the documents. Best thing I always like to do is take about 10 minutes to read through my documents, spend about 45 writing it. Because remember, how long are you spending on this thing? 55 minutes. What medium is it being done in? You are handwriting it on notebook paper. All right, so that is your 2 basic outlines. Read the documents, circle, underline, or highlight any important information you think you may want to use. Okay, now, and then move on. What do you think your next step would be after reading the documents? Okay, so I'm going to go over here and go to our DBQ instructions, so the checklist. First of all, I'm going to put read the documents. All right, so in all capital letters because it's super important. All right, now your next thing would be create a thesis, right? So following reading the documents, you would look at your prompt. And what's our prompt in this situation? It's what caused the fall of Western Rome, right? That right there is your prompt. This is your prompt. Your essay is answering that question, all right? So what caused the fall of Western Rome? Well, I don't know. Maybe all the answers are in these documents below. All right, so what's your next step after reading your prompt? Very good job, Isabella. You are meant now to write your thesis. I have decided to be the nicest honors teacher you will probably ever have, and I am going to give you your first thesis. I know. Look, calm down. Look, Michael, a parade is not necessary, all right? I don't need all the... Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, anyway, so the compliments, they're just being showered right now. So let's talk about this for a second, okay? I'm going to write your thesis, and then we're going to talk about how you then take documents, you group them, and then you go intro, body, 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 conclusion, bang, you're done, all right? So after reading the documents, you will notice that to you, probably a novice at writing a DBQ, you just see 6 different reasons why Rome fell. How am I supposed to put these into 3 categories? Well, that's just the thing. We're going to make 3 broad categories, all right? So here's the thing. One thing to remember about writing a DBQ, you ain't got to be right. And 90% of it is about structure, and you're basically simulating what historians do every day. You're taking information at hand, and then you're just bending it to suit your claim, right? Also, big thing to remember in a DBQ, talk in the affirmative, as if you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are right, okay? So here we go. Are you ready? Here's your thesis. I'm even going to type it right here. Your thesis is the Western Roman Empire fell due to many reasons, not limited to, a weak infrastructure, okay, societal shifts, and decline in military power. That right there is our thesis. Boom! The Western Roman Empire fell due to many reasons, not limited to a weak infrastructure, societal shifts, and a decline in Roman military power. All right, so bang, there's your thesis, right? So half of your job is now already done. That's one of the hardest things to do whenever you're writing DBQ, is just to come up with your thesis, right? So bang, there's your thesis. So good. All right, so now what you're going to do is you're now going to double back to your documents, all right? You're going to double back, and you're like, well, how many categories does your thesis have? Well, let's count them off, shall we? All right, Gianna, you're exactly right. There are 3, right? There is a weak infrastructure category, societal shift category, and a decline in military power category, right? So you have 3 separate categories that we are relating to the fall of Western Rome. So now what you need to do is dive back into your documents, and then you need to actually divide these documents into those 3 categories, right? You're going to be like, all right, well, I'm going to use document 1 for that category, and I'm going to use document 2 for this category, and I'm going to use document 3 for that category, all right? So you need to separate the documents into ones that relate to a weak infrastructure, societal shifts, or a decline in military power, all right? So let me give you an example, okay? Let's go to the easiest document. This right here, the invasions by the barbarians in 476. You got the Huns coming in, the Franks, the Visigoths, the Ostrogoths, everybody and their brother, all right, is coming in and invading. This would relate to a decline in military power due to the fact that, is it not a little ridiculous that when we were talking about the fall of Rome, none of you actually even asked me at any point, they were like, wait a minute. The Romans had the ability to take over pretty much all of Europe, but could not just destroy a few invaders? A lot of that was due to their decline of power at the time, right? Their military was scattered. It was not as functional. It was weak. It was like borderline powerless, so they were just there for the taking, right? And when some barbarians heard that they were weak, more came, all right? So that would really, like these invasions would relate to the decline of military power, right? So because the Romans should have been able to fend off these people, okay? So anyway, continuing on with that. So that's an example. So you would take document 6 and you slide that into the decline of military power guy, okay? So step 1, when officially, now, all right, so we've got our documents separated. We've got our thesis written, all right? Now we're going to sit down. We're going to write this bad boy, all right? So first things first, your introduction, all right? You're going to introduce the topic, talk about, you can do whatever you want, all right? You can talk about like, oh, the prominence that was Rome and the amazing things that it gave us in the historical community. Or you could say like, bleep, blort, floop-de-doo, right? So it does not matter, okay? You can be like, Thanos is pretty cool. I'm not even going to lie. I thought his character was pretty amazing. Now, then you're going to write your thesis as your final sentence of your introductory paragraph, all right? The Western Roman Empire fell due to many reasons not limited to a weak infrastructure, societal shifts, and decline of military power, all right? So then you move on to your first topic paragraph, right? Your body paragraph number 1, which is all going to be related to a weak infrastructure, right? So then you just start writing a weak infrastructure, right? You're then going to make sure so that you get these points. This is where we're moving on, all right? We are going to use body paragraph number 1 as an example. And then we're just going to replicate it 2 more times, and then we're going to conclude, and bang, your first DBQ is done. All right, so check this out. What you do when writing a body paragraph, first of all, you introduce the topic, right? Explain what an infrastructure is. Talk about like how a weak infrastructure could spell the demise of a large empire that size, right? So then you're going to start listing reasons that are evident in the documents of a weak infrastructure, right? You do that by doing 3 things, all right? Number 1, you do it by bringing in the documents themselves. The best way to bring the documents in is saying, as seen in document 4, a good quote, right? That's why you highlighted all that stuff and underlined it earlier, right? So you go, as seen in document 4, all right? Little quote, cap it off. This shows the weak infrastructure due to the blah, 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 right? So, and then you move on to your next reason. As seen in document blank. Bam. Now, here's the kicker, though. It wouldn't be much of an essay, right? I know right now, like, Magrino's like, right? Like, that's not much of an essay. We're just repeating things that other people have said. That's the second part, all right? So what you're supposed to bring in now is outside evidence, all right? You now need to prove your genius by bringing in evidence from class, okay? Some of you are like, outside evidence, do I go to the internet? No, you go to your notes, okay? AP graders don't give a rat's behind about your ability to check Google, all right? They want to know that your teacher taught you a couple of things. Some little scoffy boy right now is like, my name is Evan Schwantes, and Mr. Terry didn't teach me anything. Now, that's not true, all right? We went over a lot of the stuff. Declines in trade, right? Like limited infrastructure, massive size, the 5 great emperors bringing it to new heights that it had never been to before, right? So what you need to do is do 2 things, right? So we referenced bringing in the documents. Here's the big part about this checklist. It's your best friend, all right? So what we just did, the Western Empire, so bang, check, thesis done, right? Referencing and explaining documents, right? Well, here's the thing. You're going to use all 6, so it's going to be check, boom, right? You now got 3 out of 6 points, right? Now you need to worry about these 2 bad boys, okay? To add meat to your body paragraphs, you need to bring in evidence from class, all right? So first one, outside historical evidence. You need to bring in evidence of minor detail, little nuggets of stuff that we talked about in class, right? It had expanded to great heights. They had earlier been sacked by the Gauls. They had proven their ability to organize their military in legions, blah, 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 blah. Things that relate to your topic in each body, okay? So bring in some outside evidence. But then, in about 1 or 2 of your documents are related to it, you want to bring in a piece of nuclear fat man, it's fat man, little boy, right? Yeah, fat man, little boy, boom, knock it out of the park. Super specific evidence that an AP grader, if they saw it, they were like, man, this kid's smart, all right? So that's all you got to do. You add meat to your body paragraphs by bringing in evidence from class, and then a super specific piece of evidence from class as well. Do not go to the internet. Do not go to the internet, all right? Just use your notes. Use things that we talked about in class, okay? That's it. That's all, okay? Then you're going to do that. So basically, you're going to write your body paragraph, right, with referencing your documents and using evidence from class, and you're just going to do it again. And you're going to do it for the next topic, right? You're going to do it for societal shifts. And then you're going to do it for decline of military power. And then you're going to conclude, and that's pretty much it, all right? So now, one thing really, really quickly. This last point that you get demonstrates complete understanding of the topic and content. That is up to the grader. If I feel that you have written a very good DBQ and you are on your way to being a master of this process, you'll get that point no matter what. There is one thing on here. I am no longer grading this on a scale of 1 through 7. I'm going to grade it 1 through 6. I want you to ignore that point altogether. All right? Historical context, audience, point of view, and purpose for at least 3 documents. That is going to come later. Do not worry about it. Do not sweat it. It doesn't exist. Go ahead and scribble it out on your checklist and your DBQ instructions. But nah, I don't need to worry about that one now, right? Mainly due to the fact that we need to bring in primary sources to be able to be effective with this. The sources that we're using right now are completely secondary sources, right? You need primary sources to be able to discuss this, so we just don't have the tools for it. And also, I just don't think you're quite ready for it yet, all right? It's a little bit of a deep concept, but that's it. That is a crash course on how to write your first DBQ. So what we did is I gave you your thesis, right? We talked about how to write your intro. We talked about how to break it into categories, assign your documents to each category, go topic sentence for each body paragraph, reference a document, specific, or a piece of evidence for class, specific piece of evidence. Reference a document, evidence, evidence. Boom, move on, bang, 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 chop suey. That's your movie. Roll the credits, freeze frame, first DBQ in the bank, right? And that's it, okay? If you have any questions past this video, please do not hesitate to email me over break, okay? This bad boy will be due the Tuesday after you get back. I will see you guys then. Please be safe over break. Come back to us here at home, at Camden Catholic safely. And God bless. I hope your family has a great break, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.